This will be the first lesson in using something called iAnnotate, which is a PDF annotator. Something that's going to come on your iPad when you'll be allowed to download it. We're hoping that every student will have it as well. Pretty powerful program. So what you see in front of you, a little bit different than what I normally have. This is my own personal iPad. I've actually popped it on there. So let me fire up the program. Here's iAnnotate PDF right here. In order to kind of show this is my first foray into using, close that down here too, using a stylus. So I actually have a stylus in my hand. So what you see in front of you is the initial screen for iAnnotate. And there's basically kind of 3 or 4 screens I'm going to cover as I move through this program. The first one will just get you connected to the Dropbox so that you have access to all of your files and as well have access to maybe a shared folder that you have with your class. You could walk your class through this same idea, doing exactly what I'm doing right here. So you'll notice down in the bottom left corner you have this Manage Connections box. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Well, actually, before I do that, you'll notice the 4 files in here. I can put check marks on each one. I can select these things. I'll cover these things when I go into the Dropbox, but here's a great little reference. I use this as a kind of a guideline as to what I'm going to base my lessons on when I start using this program. So you'll see I actually kind of annotated some stuff here too. But again, I'll come back to this view once we're in Dropbox. I'm going to go ahead and close that one down. Go back to Library. And I'm going to set up my Dropbox connection. So I'm going to go down in the bottom left corner. I'm going to say Manage Connections. I'm going to click on where it says up on the top now, Set Up New Connection. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it gives you all of these cloud-based apps that you can use. Again, Box One Cloud and Box, those are relatively new. WebDAV is kind of a complex system. But what you're going to find is most apps that use cloud-based systems are using Dropbox these days. If you need a refresher on Dropbox, I encourage you to go back and watch the other videos on Dropbox. I talk about how to install and how to create a shared folder on both your PC and your iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Dropbox. And I'm going to type a description in here, Dave's. And we'll just say files, Dave's files. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Dropbox login. I'm going to use my regular one, my own school account, or my personal account, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my personal account. And I'm going to cut out right here so I can type my password in. Okay, my password is in. I'm going to say Set Up Connection. And I've got at the top Dave's Files, and there's a little Dropbox icon there, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to connect to my Dropbox. And now what you see in the library window is pretty much all of my my Dropbox files. So I can go into each one of these. I've got some stuff in academic affairs. We've got some stuff there. I can go back by just clicking back on the top part of these. I got academic affairs. If I want to go back to Dave's files, I've got that there as well. And you'll notice I got a couple of PDFs here too. I'm actually going to go in and I actually created a PDF of my Intro to World Wide Web and Web Design textbook. And that's over here in my Bridgton Academy folder. You'll also notice Dave's Assignments was a folder that we had created when I was going through the lesson in terms of sharing a piece too. So I'm going to go on into the Bridgton Academy folder. I'm going to scroll down, and this file down in the bottom right, www text, that's going to be the file that I use the most when I show you how to do these certain things. We're not really going to get into the file just yet. Just kind of wanted to show you some pieces of the Dropbox idea. I've got some other PDFs in here too as well. You'll notice that I can go into each one of these and it connects. Just takes a few moments to connect. But if I want to go back to other folders, I can definitely go back to other folders there. The other things in the left panel as well. If you notice, I'm in my Dropbox. If I wanted to get out back into my traditional library. And all of these things, the reason why they're not coming up as regular is they're kind of downloading. You'll notice a little blip, and now my www text actually has the insignia that I can actually select the check mark. That means it's fully downloaded within the PDF, within the iAnnotate PDF reader. If I wanted to go back to the other files that I had before, where these were the help files, I can just hit library and I'll go back there. Now you'll notice I have my Dave's files in the Dropbox. Okay, so there's some functionality here. You can create new folders if you'd like. You can have Dropbox as one folder, but I could also put these other files, each one of these other files, into another folder if I wanted to. And again, these files are a big difference here. These files, these 4 files you see in front of you, are actually on my iPad. The Dropbox files are in connection with Dropbox, and I'll talk more about how we sync and all that stuff a little bit later with Dropbox. You can run into trouble because the minute you pull a PDF in from a Dropbox and I annotate it, and if I just sync it up, I've just screwed up the original copy of the PDF. So there is a little tricky piece to this, but let me show you how to create a folder here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create the new folder. It's going to ask me, what do I want to call the folder? And I'm just going to call it Guides. And I click the check mark. I'm good. I got a Guides folder. And let's say now I want to move all of these 4 pieces into my Guides folder. So I select all 4 of them, and I say Move. And here comes a list of all the folders that you could possibly move. Notice my Guides folder is right there. Notice what is not here. My Dropbox is not here. So there's really no way to organize your Dropbox through iAnnotate. You're going to have to do that in some other different format, either on the web, through your PC, or through the Dropbox app on the iPad, which is not a big deal. But in any case, that's solely thinking about Dropbox. That becomes a slight issue in terms of organizing the Dropbox. But you can actually have PDF files right on the iPad. So I'm going to move all of those into the Guides folder. And now I've got Dave's files and my guides. So I just click on Guides. There's all my guides. Let me just show you real quickly what you else can do. You can put tags on these files for easy searching. Open, obviously, self-explanatory. Delete, self-explanatory. Copy, you can make a copy of these, and that's kind of what I was talking about before. When you annotate a PDF, you kind of want to make a copy of it first, annotate it, and then once you save it, you're only screwing up the copy or annotating the copy, not necessarily the original. So there is a little bit of a learning curve there. And Move, I've already talked about. Let me push the share just to show you what it basically will do. Share immediately kicks out to email. So automatically it will actually put the PDF in an email, getting ready for you to share it out to whoever you want to share. Pretty powerful function. You can annotate a PDF, and then if you're a student, you could send it to a teacher, or as a teacher, I could annotate a PDF for a student and then send it right out to the student. So that's a pretty cool feature. So we'll cancel that. We're going to delete that draft. Web download, all web download does is automatically fires up a web browser. The last piece in this panel on the left that I'm going to show you is the search bar. And again, that search is a textual search, which will allow you to search some folders for certain PDF files that you have. Real quickly, I'll cover the views. You can actually see them in list view as opposed to icon view. And you've got some sort ideas and show ideas that you can do here. If I click on all files, the annotated file, if you want to just see the files you've annotated, you can do that. Favorites, unread, out of sync basically means with Dropbox, you've annotated a file, but you haven't synced it back to Dropbox. So you can see all of your out of sync files, which I'll cover more when we start talking about the files themselves. We've got a settings tab up here. You've got a quick reference guide you can go through. That's pretty powerful. That's kind of the file I had pulled up immediately. So again, this is where you're going to get all my tutorials from to a certain extent. Let me go back to my library. And then what else do we have in here? You got settings, the help center, show tutorial, and about. And I haven't gone into this too much at all. So we'll stop right there for now. We're connected to Dropbox, and in the next lesson, we're going to talk about navigating a file.